What's up, guys? Chris here with the Rule of Thirds, doing my first impressions video on the new Disney Plus Marvel What If series, episode 1. And I want to try and do this without giving away too many spoilers. But, I want to save that for when I get together with my guys and, collectively talk about this episode and what we all thought about it. But as far as my initial reactions, and I've seen it twice already, so I probably should have shot a video right after I watched it the first time. But I wanted to watch it again and just kind of get my mind set around some things I want to talk about. But overall, I loved it. Overall, I think this is just going to be another success for Marvel and what they're doing with their streaming shows. This one here directly ties into a lot of this, concepts that we learned to understand in the Loki series as far as the multiverse. And it makes sense for this show to come out right after that, because that's the basis of this show, is essentially that there are these, key moments in the Marvel Cinematic Universe where a decision is made that branches off into its own nexus. Remember that term from Loki? But it branches off into its own nexus event and causes a completely different outcome. So, for those of you who've seen it, there's, you're greeted with essentially a narrator or a guide who was the Watcher, and he pretty much, tells you, gives you backstory of what's going on. And this first episode is, what if Peggy Carter becomes the first Avenger, right? So let's just go back a little bit to Captain America, the first Avenger, the movie. We see a lot of the same affection that Steve Rogers, even before he gets the serum, we see a lot of the affection and the care that Peggy and Steve have for one another. We learned a lot about Steve, just his his overall compassion for trying and wanting to do the right thing. We know that Bucky's already been deployed. We know that the scientist Erskine was the German scientist who essentially perfected the super soldier serum. So all those things are still going on in this particular story. But not to give it away, but there's just one key moment where something different happens that causes a series of events that take this story that we know already into a different direction. And with that being said, I don't think this is a spoiler, but Peggy essentially is the one who gets the super soldier serum, and she becomes, not at first, but she becomes a I don't want to say a captain, but she becomes a super soldier. Okay, so we see a lot of things going on with that aspect, how she's treated as a female, and this is going back World War II in the 40s and things like that, so things are a little different. So we get that dynamic of how she's looked at as a woman. There's some there's some optimism. There's a lot of negativity towards that she has to deal with. But when it comes to essentially a job needing done, she's really the only one who can pull it off. What else is going on? We get some information about the Tesseract. we get some information about the Red Skull, and in a lot of ways, it is the same story. It's just told from a different angle. So there's nothing I would say you have to relearn or revisit. We see Bucky. We see, like I said, the Red Skull. We see, we see Zoloff, the little German guy with the big glasses. We see him. So there's nothing in here that I would say you have to go back and watch the movie the first Avenger. What's cool though is watching this does make me want to go back and watch it. I will say that this, I may get in trouble for this, but I enjoyed this better than I actually enjoyed that movie. Just because there is that twist, and I guess knowing and having those expectations and already knowing what's coming from watching the movie, it was nice to have that little twist, and I think that's what we're going to get as a whole from this What If series. Is there's going to be so many similarities and so many things that run parallel to what we already know, but then there's going to be a sharp deviation from what it is we know, and I think that's going to be the cool part that happens with this series. So, what else can I tell you? The episode was about a half an hour, so we're kind of back to that. I'm not sure exactly how many episodes we're going to get. I know they've already talked about they're going to do 2 seasons. And if you guys have seen any of the trailers or any of the information that's online, I know there's a Doctor Strange story, there's a Guardians of the Galaxy story, there's an Iron Man story, Spider-Man story, a bunch of different stories, and that's all we know. And I know there's going to be more episodes than that, so it's going to be really, really interesting, really, really cool to see where this takes us. But it makes so much sense to have this after the Loki series, because we're essentially watching, the way I look at it, the first iteration and stories, or these ripple effects from that, multiversal effect or multiversal event, that happened at the end of Loki. What we're watching, these what if scenarios, you can look at it as, each one of these is a different universe, because something different happened, So I think it's really cool that we're going in this direction. It really shows the scope and depth of what can be done with the multiverse concept. I've even heard that a lot of the characters we're going to meet in What If, we may very well see live action versions of them in the cinematic universe. So that's going to be really, really cool. Haley Atwell, I loved her in everything she did in the Marvel Universe. I really loved her in the Agent Carter series. I was so disappointed that they only gave us 2 seasons of that. I thought it was one of the best things Marvel has ever done. What else? Also loved that we get a lot of the actors coming back to play their animated selves. Haley Atwell, I mentioned, Sebastian Stan, some other smaller characters. One of the Howling Commandos. I can't think of the actor's name, but he's been in a lot of things. But the guy with the big mustache, he's in the hat. You hear his voice. Sam Jackson, Jeremy Renner, even Artem Zoloff and Erskine. Those are their voices. Their animated voices are done by the actual actors that played those characters in the movie. So I think that's really cool. I think we're going to get more of that as this series goes on. But really, just kind of a first reaction, second reaction, because I've seen it twice, but really enjoyed it. I think the next episode is the Guardians of the Galaxy kind of spin off, the tying with Black Panther, so that's really going to be cool. Can't wait to see how they do that. But as a first reaction, I thought it was, you get a lot in a half an hour, and I'm always going to say, hey, give me an hour. I think that's a sweet spot, 45 minutes to an hour. But you get a lot in here. You get that sort of feeling that just with the narration of the watcher, that you're going to be seeing something very similar but yet very different. So, and even for the fans of the What If series who read the source material in the comic books, it's very similar to that, where there's so many different, like I said earlier, parallels and things like that, but then there's like a real kind of quick, sharp deviation that takes you down a different path. So, again, I'll leave it there. I really enjoyed it. I can't wait to see what next week brings. Hopefully we get together soon and we're able to do a review, and we can talk about some of the spoilers and really kind of cut this thing apart in greater detail. But for now, I'll leave it there. What else do we have coming for you guys? We got the ending and the season finale and the series conclusion of Bad Batch Season 1. We got Shang-Chi coming next month. There's a bunch still out there. So just be patient with that. Stay tuned. Like, comment, and subscribe, and continue to follow us and stay along with us during this journey. So like I said, there's a lot more to come, but I'll end it there and talk to you guys later. Bye.